This lesson is basically about camera shots and can be useful for YouTuber beginners. This is part 2 of a lesson, production management and direction, way back in my teaching years at the University of San Jose Recoletos Mass Comm class. Let's start.
Una sa lahat, mag-subscribe muna kayo sa aking channel para suportahan ito. You may also join this channel as a member to avail of exclusive perks like priority in comments reply and early access or exclusive access to some videos for members only. You can also help fund some projects here by sharing super thanks.
Wow.
Camera shots are categorized according to this list. I'm going to discuss each one of these in the next slides. When you say proportion of the object, it refers to how small and how big and which part of the subject is going to be captured in the frame. With respect to a person, long shot covers the foreground and background of the subject. Full shot only covers from head to foot with a headroom and a space in front of the subject. A headroom, by the way, is the space from the head to the edge of the frame. Headroom indicates there's a space above the subject which is not shown on the frame. There's such thing as 3/4 shot, and that is from the knee of a person up to his head with a headroom. MS is medium shot or from the waistline up to the head and again with a headroom. Then there's MCU or medium close-up or the bust shot with a headroom. CU or close-up is from below the shoulder but with a lesser headroom. BCU or big close-up is from the shoulder and just above the head or it is a little tighter close-up shot. VCU or very close-up shot from the shoulder to the forehead or hairline. Bald people have better look with this shot than showing their entire head. Here's an actual shot showing various proportions of a man's body. EWS or extreme wide shot is also known as ELS or extreme long shot. It's mainly used to establish the location of the subject. By just looking at the first image, we can tell the man is in the middle of a desert. Then we have the WS or wide shot or long shot, medium close-up, and extreme close-up, which is more tighter than a VCU or very close-up shot. The shot doesn't only cut the head but also the chin. ECU is also known as nostril shot because the nose is inadvertently emphasized. The purpose of ECU is to capture the emotion of the subject during emotional moments. Next category of camera shots, number of people in the frame. One shot is also single shot or only one person in the frame. We have two shot, group shot that includes 3 or a few more people. Larger than that is already a crowd that requires a long shot or extreme wide shot. Nowadays, we can shoot single, double, or group shot and a selfie shot. But it's impossible to do a selfie on a crowd unless you make a selfie with the crowd as your background. Next category, movement of the camera. First, we have zoom in or out, which is very familiar to us. Zoom shot is done by adjusting the zoom lens of the camera by pressing or adjusting W or T in the control. W is for wide and T is for tight. On our camera phone, we have zoom slider on the screen or we can set the volume control for zoom. Zoom shots are time-consuming and it's the reason why zoom in and out shot is seldom used in the news. Instead, news cameraman prefers cut-to-cut shots like from long shot, then cut to close-up shot. Zoom shots are usually used in dramatic scenes, especially in movies. Panoramic or panning shot, pan left or right. Panning shots are often abused by amateur videographers thinking it's nice to look at on video recordings. But the truth is, panning shot has its own purpose, not just pan the camera to show how big the area is. Panning shots have stories to tell. There's such thing as Swiss pan shot. It is commonly used during fast actions like crowd dispersal, demolition, and sports where simultaneous actions are happening.
Quickly come to recognize one another by sight as the only
Tilt up or down. You shouldn't say pan up or pan down because panning is only for horizontal or side-to-side movement of the camera. Tilt shot has also its purpose, to emphasize height and relate a scene to another. Dolly in or out involves moving the camera towards or outwards the subject without adjusting the zoom lens. It's called dolly because you have to move the dolly. A dolly is the wheeled platform used to support the tripod. Running shot or tracking shot is moving the camera to the sides with a stationary subject. It is different from panning shot since the camera is not changing its subject matter. Then we have following shot. It's when the camera is following the movement of subject either by panning or tracking or walking. This is the walking shot. Simply the cameraman is walking forward when taking the shots. Crane shot is when a crane is used or a jib arm is used in carrying the camera to take a low angle to high angle shots and vice versa. Nowadays, we use drones to do this up to the extent of taking an aerial shot. Run through shot. It's when the subject is running through a frame of shot. Similarly, the walk through shot is when the subject is walking through a frame of shot. And also, the fall through shot when the subject is falling into a frame of shot. Next category of shots is position of the camera with respect to the subject. When you say low angle shot, it's when the subject is at the higher ground while the camera is below. Low angle shot is basically used to determine height and elevation. Then there's the high angle shot, which is intended to dwarf the subject. High angle shots are also used in establishing a space from an elevated position. Aerial shot, on the other hand, is also used to establish a space, but usually taken by cameraman on board a plane, chopper, or balloon. Nowadays, we use satellites or drones. Next category of shots, function in the cinematic sequence. This is how the camera shots are used in the video or film during editing. I've talked a lot about establishing shots a while ago, and it refers to, as its name implies, is used to identify the location of the shooting or the subject matter. If your story is from City Hall, you may begin your story with the facade of the City Hall building. Most often, wide shot or extreme long shot or an aerial shot makes a good establishing shot. Master shot. In an interview, the interviewer's close-up shot is the master shot. Also in speeches, the speaker's speech is the master shot. Reverse shot, as the name implies, is what the subject in the master shot is seeing. In an interview, the close-up shot of the interviewer or reporter perhaps is the reverse shot. In a speech, a shot from behind the speaker in a panel is the reverse shot that would show the audience. Reaction shots are not just random shots in the crowd. It is not a pretty face in a forum, but it's the faces of those who actually reacted to the speeches or those who witnessed an event. Insert shots are details of anything or paper or a document, for example, that a person is trying to check or read. Point of view shot. For those of you who are watching basketball coverage or any court games, sometimes you can see graphics telling the viewers that it's a reverse angle. In a basketball or volleyball game coverage, all cameras are situated in one side up to the center only. This way, the point of view can be established and viewers of the video won't get confused on which direction is the action is heading. Cutaway shot is purposely to remove the jump cuts in the cinematic sequence during video editing. What are jump cuts, by the way? These are scenes that don't follow natural sequence of movements.
In this video, for example, the speaker is facing the audience, but suddenly the next frame is already writing on the board. That's where the jump cut is.
Editing is not magic. The sequences of actions should be chronological and can be explained. You can remove jump cuts by overlaying with another related shot like reaction shot, insert shot, reverse shot, etc. You can also add transition in between clips like dissolve to emphasize the next frame is happening in different time.
근무하는 경찰들을 위해 경찰청과 PRO 세븐 그들 대부분은 앞장서서 한국 관광
Lead-in shot is to show lead room. The purpose is to tell the direction of the subject where it is heading. In this example, there's a space or lead room at the left side of the car on the first image, which signify the car where the car is heading. While the second image, the rear of the car has the space. We cannot tell in the second image where the car is heading unless it's backing. In photography, there's such thing as rule of thirds when framing your subject. You should place the subject on the points where the lines are met. You can do it by dividing the frame into 9 frames, 3 both vertically and horizontally, and take note of the intersections of the lines. Another hilarious mistake in camera shots is the scene stealer. Be conscious of the background of the subject. In this example, the subject in the first image appears to have horns. You can avoid that by either positioning in other side or let the subject move to his sides. Another thing to avoid in framing your shot is don't mutilate the limbs of a person.
And that ends our lesson on camera shots. If you have questions, feel free to comment below. Daghang salamat, bye.